The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Amanda Burst, and you are listening to the Showdown podcast. Did I get it right?
You got it right. The Showdown podcast presents the Survivor Series with Corey Miller, Vic Miller, and Brad Scott. This week's episode, Varsity Blues. Welcome to the Showdown podcast. This is a three-time All-Pro, All-State, you're in good hands podcast. I am joined, as always, by Vic. How are they going to win without a black wide receiver, Miller? Corey.
Lord only knows.
Corey, my kind of movie, Miller, and I am Brad, the old hook and ladder Scott, and this is, again, the Showdown podcast, and if you couldn't tell by that iconic hit of the 90s, by the very popular band Foo Fighters, we are talking about Varsity Blues.
Indeed.
Corey, why are we talking about Varsity Blues?
We are doing a football-themed movie because this week it is the NFL Draft.
Dun 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 dun. Do, 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 do.
That's a better version.
Yeah, and the Colts will probably pick a 5'6" wide receiver.
Wide receiver, yeah.
That we have no need for. So,
Well,
yay, NFL's almost back.
Well, they got a new GM, so the chances are it's going to be better than what.
No, we'll pick a white running back, I'm sure.
The dude from Stanford.
You know what's really good for me though is being in Delaware now. Is everyone here are Eagles fans, so I'm amongst friends again.
Oh yeah, you are an Eagles fan, yeah. EAGLES. And
Yes.
Corey is a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that too loud.
I like the Dolphins, to be honest. I don't mind the
They're on
Dolphins.
the fence.
And they're they're against the Patriots. Same division, and they're kind of a rival, even though they've only
They have a
beaten them like once.
They have a tendency to split with them every year. The biggest problem I have with, I know you didn't ask me, but I'm going to say it anyway, is
No, Corey, we don't want to hear your opinion on anything on the podcast that you're part of.
No, the biggest issue I have with the Dolphins is their owner, because he just continuously hires terrible GMs who continuously
But
draft
you have a good coach.
horribly.
I like your coach now. Is it Gase? Adam Gase?
Adam Gase. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's a good coach. He's a quarterback whisperer, they say.
Yeah. I mean, there's potential there, but I'm not set on Tannehill. I don't think he's the quarterback that they need. I think they need somebody better and fix that offensive line, and they can possibly do something, but we'll see. They've got the same GM they had last year, and I think they're going to end up drafting the same bullshit that they do every year and miss out on
Shots
Welcome
fired.
to the Showdown NFL podcast, folks.
This
Woo!
episode. Yeah,
Hot takey over here.
yeah. Sorry, I got on my soapbox a little bit there.
So I did want to talk about an important issue before we get into the movie. I'm going to break down the fourth wall a little bit with the audience. And now we don't like to really go blue on this show. We like to keep pretty clean, pretty high class, classy jokes, you would say.
Sure.
But I'm going to talk about, I'm going to literally do, not toilet humor, but toilet talk. So I just took a shit in Corey's bathroom. And I just want to tell you, though, I have two words that will change your life. Flushable wipes. Vic, are you familiar? Are you on this bandwagon?
I am.
Have you?
I have been for years.
By the way, I feel it's ridiculous that bidets are not standard in America. We have the dirtiest assholes of any country. They all use some sort of bidet feature where you wash your asshole after getting shit out of it. And we're the only country that's like, nah, just some dry paper should do the trick. Flushable wipes, my friend. It is the closest you can get to a bidet in the States. And is it not life-changing, Vic?
It is. It's you walk away with a refreshed asshole. So.
You feel like, honestly, you not using them, you feel like you're never clean. Because it's a different layer. It's pure. You feel pure after you use the flushable wipes. And now you could just throw them in the toilet. Because that used to be everybody's big thing. They were like, whoa, it'll screw up your draining system, blah, blah, blah. They fixed that.
Yeah, they don't decompose.
See, I've actually been...
hold on. Does that mean that he has them or he doesn't?
He does not.
About it? Ah.
Yeah, I know where this is going.
I had to do a little bit I had to make my own.
He's like looking around.
No, I just took some toilet paper and kind of ran it under the sink for a second to try to get, some of that. But it's still then, when you do that, the toilet paper breaks apart on you. There's no consistency with it. I was on this train
It's extremely cold.
I was on this train long before they made them flushable.
Baby wipes?
Yep, when my daughter was a baby. Yep. And I remember one day I didn't have any toilet paper. I was out, and the only thing I had was a baby wipe. And I was like, oh, my God. Like,
that's exactly how
it was like walking from Kansas to Oz. Just everything was in color, and it was, the color was brown, but it was then
there were
pink.
little people fucking singing to you.
Then it was pink. It was just clear. It was just beautiful.
I need to reel this back
So
in.
I am telling you, flushable wipes, it is a game changer. And you can get like 2 packs for $3 at Walmart of like 40 each. I always get that because I can put one in my travel bag for the road. And I won't even, now I have to do like the thing where I like sneak them in my pocket to go in. Like if I'm stopping in at a Walmart or something, like very rarely will I poop anywhere that's not a hotel or a condo I'm staying at.
You got to have the home field advantage.
But sometimes I have to, and I have to like sneak them in because I'm still a little ashamed of it, even though it's what everyone should be doing. That should be as commonplace as your phone when you're traveling, is a pack of flushable wipes.
Okay, now that everybody knows your pooping tactics, can we talk about this movie a little bit? Or
okay, I guess.
This
Vic,
is the grossest our show has ever gotten.
If you insist.
Vic, do you have your information ready? For
1 second, sir. I got distracted by the conversation and accidentally closed it. I think it was a valid point. It's a very good point.
Yeah, I really do too. I feel like I might have helped some people. If I reach one person with this is a success.
If one person has a glorious asshole after this conversation.
For real, man. I'm telling you guys, you don't understand. It's life-changing. It really is. You feel so clean when you're done. Right now, I'm worried that this episode's not going to be as good because I'm sitting here with a dirty ass.
Wow.
So, this
Corey is mortified. It's the greatest thing ever.
This is a segment we like to call Budget or Bust. Man, it was so much better when you were sitting here with me. So, Vic, tell him what he needs to know.
All right, Corey. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. This movie was released on January 15th, 1999. It was on a budget of $16 million. What was the box office take?
Wow. They spent $16 million on that? Good Lord.
This was right in the heart of Dawson's Creek.
Was it? Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I'll go.
A lot of that was payroll.
I'll go 19.
You think it made 19?
Yeah.
On a budget of 16?
Yeah.
Vic, I don't have that information in front of me. I have not looked at it, but I'm going to take a stab in the dark. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Unlike Corey, you were not wrong. The box office take for this movie was $54.3 million.
Are you serious?
It's a success. It's a success. Almost 3.5 times.
Wow.
That is impressive.
Dude, this was think about it. It was an MTV movie, which means it had fucking marketing and budget out the ass.
And honestly, that soundtrack was very popular.
That's probably where a lot of their budget went.
Was music rights and stuff? Yeah, but the Foo Fighters weren't huge at that point.
No, but still, they're...
I mean, that was only a few years after
they had them.
Cobain.
They were in there. Green Day was in it. They also had...
Collective Soul?
Was Collective Soul. I want to say Offspring was in there, too.
AC/DC?
Yeah. See, that's where a lot of the budget went right there.
John Voight?
Yeah.
John fucking Voight?
Yeah.
Who later... His car was owned by George Costanza?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so before...
I was way off.
Oh. Not to mention they probably had to buy that entire town in Texas.
Nah, I bet that town... they didn't even have to, like, pay extras. They just went to high school football games and shit.
Yeah.
Half those actors weren't even actors. They just were living out their life.
Isn't there, like, a town in Texas that this shit is based after? I guess where I saw something where there's like a town in Texas that is
probably
just like this.
Every single town in Texas, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly.
All right, so before we get into the movie, though, we'll have a little segment we like to call. And now, the Showdown Podcast History. Corey?
Since it's been released, only seen bits and pieces of it. Finally watched it all the way through several months ago.
Okay, you're supposed to talk about the first time you saw it. Vic?
This is the first time I saw it.
Oh, okay. I saw it in the theater when I was a high school student. I was 16 years old.
You were part of that 54 million?
I was part of that 54 million. Went and saw it opening weekend, I believe. And we have how did the last episode, you guys gave me no time, and now you've left me filling.
Now you're going to bitch because we gave you time. Last time you bitched because we didn't give you time.
This has been the Showdown Podcast History. All right. So yeah, this is a movie that I think. Again, I was in high school. Vic, you were probably entering into the workforce, having a family. Yeah, having a family. Corey was collecting Social Security and,
close.
Getting dinner at 4. So this was I think more of my generation. It is the high school program.
Yeah, it's it.
Yeah.
It is.
No, I can tell you that I basically lived this stupid fucking movie.
I was going to ask you about that. So you played high school and you played offensive line, right?
Both defensive and offense.
Did they now?
Iron Man, baby.
Okay, so basically, I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, where have you been? It's about high school football. James Vanderbeek plays the second string quarterback, who his best friend is the starting quarterback, and all of his other best friends are on the team. And it's high school football in Texas, so it's a huge deal. And he, of course, is, Joe Montana to Steve Young.
No, he would be the Steve Young.
Steve Young to Joe Montana.
You couldn't wait.
One more.
5 seconds. I was going to say Joe Montana to Steve Young, Drew Bledsoe to Tom Brady, Paul Walker to Mox. The sequence of the starting quarterback getting injured and being replaced by his replacement who ends up being better. That's what I was going for. Do you see what I'm saying?
Sure.
You just interrupted that right from the get-go. Anyways, but in this movie you see a lot of they do a lot of social commentary for an MTV movie. If you think about it, it has a lot of commentary about the pressures of high school football in Texas, especially now. Did you experience anything where coaches would push you to get on the field if you were clearly concussed or injured? Because it was a different time as well.
This is the thing, though. Like, and it's true to form for this. Like, we weren't told to. Like, they would never tell us to do it, but we could look at them and tell that we had no choice, so we would do it anyway. We would want to go back on the field, even if we were hurt, because it was fucking brainwashed into us that we needed to do it. So, like, a lot of the scenes in there, like, ring true. Like, I played one game and I pulled my groin, and at the beginning of the game, and I played through the entire
That's
game.
a big groin to pull.
Yeah,
because Vic is black. Huge penis on the Skype.
I had to strap that shit around my waist, and he just to run. So
he has to sit at a table when he Skypes, or else that thing just covers the camera.
I don't know where
flops around there. His penis has a mind of its own.
It's like a baby.
Yeah, hunts white women.
Yeah. Where the white women at? But yeah, no. So most
hold
definitely like.
on, I love your wife can't hear this half of the conversation, and she just hears you going, "Where the white women at?"
Oh, she's not even there.
She's not there.
Oh shit, you left her. I mean, for like the weekend, not like for good.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay, so yeah, so
she was in the room.
Did you ever get shots of stuff to get you, to ease pain and to be able to give you enough to get back out on the field or anything?
Not in high school. No, that was never a thing. I don't think anybody did, but like I said, we all like there were times like in the half. Okay, so one game we were really fucked up, and when the halftime came, we were a home game. We had to go and like sit in an ice bath the entire like through the half, and then fucking freezing our asses off. We get dressed again and go back on the field because we were so numb we couldn't feel the pain anymore. So shit like that's real. It happens. It's how high school is, especially good high schools. When I was playing was like at the top, and we had won all the state championships, and it was a constant thing. So like everybody was playing fucking full tilt, and no one was allowed. Even if you didn't think you could make it, no one stopped. It's just the way it was.
You could take certain points of that of what Vic just said. Like we were really fucked up. And then we went to, like, I imagine them all being drunk, and then they had to go sit in an ice bath to sober up and then get redressed because they were so drunk they just got naked. And then they were playing full tilt. So now I imagine just Vic's staff at the arcade he used to work at in Indianapolis, putting on the pads and lining up.
I'm going to re-edit all his dialogue there just to make it sound even funnier.
Well, you're going to have to edit out some of that auto-tune again.
You're not going to do
This
You're
is
not going to do that much.
This is Vic's 808 and Heartbreaks episode. So that's basically the theme of the movie is these college kids are getting or not college kids, high school kids, but they're treating them almost like pro athletes where they're just using up their bodies. Like you hear the one black kid on the team, which most unrealistic part of this movie, that only the running back was black. That's fair, but there should have been a black receiver,
Right.
a black linebacker, but the majority you just see a bunch of white kids, and then this black running back who's also probably the only black kid in town, and even though he's probably the only person in the town named Tyreek, he's still Black Tyreek somehow.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do in small white towns. But, like, he tells John Voight, who's the coach, by the way, his knee is hurting, and John Voight's kind of like, hey, don't be a pussy. Don't let him see you, hurt. It's one of those kind of mantras.
Walk
where
it off. You'll be all right.
And Paul Walker is seen getting
he got a
R.I.P. Seen getting
it's like a cortisone shot or something like that.
Probably stronger.
Yeah.
Probably stronger because again because when he does it inevitably, because if you haven't seen the movie again, you need to watch this movie before you listen to the podcast. But he inevitably gets hurt, of course, caused by the fact that they're pushing Billy Bob, who's the big fat lineman with the pig for a dog named Bacon, and he's I knew that guy, by the way. I've known 3 of those guys in my life. The big fat party guys.
On my team. I had that guy on my team. His name was Kenny Smith.
Yeah, who's always the rowdy drinkers. Women, girls love him because he's also like Big Brother-ish type, but then he's also got the one super hot girl that he's really into, but she's so not into.
Yeah.
And it's like he's friend-zoned until he one day ends up killing himself. But he basically gets pushed out there with a concussion.
Right.
And which causes him to basically pass out on the offensive line. And the defense is too fast and furious, and they Hang on. I'm on the fence. You know what? First time ever, I'm going to put this to a vote. I'm going to let you guys vote just without giving it away for the audience. Both of you, thumbs up or down on what it should be. Okay. Oh, push comes to shove and Vic. They sacked Paul Walker.
Just waiting there.
And, I mean, like, they killed him on the play.
Too soon.
I'll see myself out. They injure him, and so, but this sets up
Dawson going
Dawson.
in.
Yeah, Dawson Leary comes in. Really, first time he's been without Pacey.
Yeah.
This kid is really just Hick Dawson, by the way. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
sensitive,
his
emo.
indecision, his fuck up thing about girls and everything else. It's just Dawson. It's Hick Dawson.
I was just waiting on him to talk about how this would be a great movie and to start like
It's
casting.
Dawson's Crick, right? It's Dawson's Crick.
Yeah, I like that Dawson's Creek, the more redneck version of Dawson's Creek.
Exactly.
It's not teens in the Northwest, it's teens in the South.
Yeah.
Joey, I don't want your life. Which, by the way, go ahead, Corey.
What?
You wanted to do it the whole episode.
Oh, what that line?
So because his father, by the way, who's a pussy, we can all agree, right? Dawson's dad in this movie, kind of a bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
He has no spine.
Yeah, like he gets into it with the dad of Paul Walker before the big game where Paul Walker gets injured because because Dawson's like he's the smart kid, but honestly, like he's probably like the analytics guy because he's trying to run his unique offenses in practice, and John Voight's like, no, you do it how I do it. Which I had that coach in high school. That was our basketball coach at Franklin, Dave Clark. Horrible piece of shit coach. 2 plays. The entire Franklin Community High School offense for that entire time he was there was 2 plays called regular and doubles, which were basically just screen plays.
Well,
The whitest, it was like playing with the Wonder Five, which is a very inside local reference to Franklin, Indiana, if you get it.
well, let me tell you this. My nephew used to play down in Monrovia, and we went and watched him play one night. Every play was a running play. I was calling the plays before they were run because it was that predictable.
Oh, no. I can top that.
He's talking about.
No, I can top that. So in high school, my senior year, one of my best friends, his name is Nabi Babauta, okay? He was, that's his real name, Nabi Babauta. He's from Saipan.
I don't even know where is that.
It's an island in the Pacific.
Okay.
His father was full Saipanese, and his mother was white. He was half. He was half and half, right?
Okay.
He was one of the best athletes we had, okay? He played tight end for our football team. And our senior year, the first 3 games of the season, which this isn't the story I meant to tell, but I'll tell it anyways. The first 3 games of the season, they would throw the ball to him, and he was amazing. He could catch over everybody, and they were all like he was bigger than all the other high schoolers, so he could just run them over. He had like 100 yards each game at least, and he had like 1 or 2 touchdowns every game. Then we had this other kid who was a running back for our school, this white kid whose family were really trying to get him to get to a Division I school or some kind of scholarship. Had to get his 1,000 yards rushing. Stopped throwing the ball. Stopped targeting my friend. We lost the next 7 games. Finished the season 3-7. But the point I want to make, that's exactly. Yeah, he got his 1,000 yards. But our coach, this is how dumb he was. Okay, we had this other kid on our, the black kid on our team who was wide receiver.
In Franklin?
Yes,
Wow.
we had a couple. One of them didn't play football though; he exclusively played basketball. But
you got to spread them out a little bit.
but this other kid, his name was James King. Okay, and he played wide receiver. So we're getting ready to play our big division rival. It was either Whiteland or Greenwood, which is 2 towns around in Indiana. We were going to play one of them. And yes, there is a town called Whiteland in Indiana. Mm-hmm. We're getting ready to play one of them. They do an interview in the county paper, the paper that goes all across the county. They do an interview with our high school head coach where he talks about our new, because James, our black kid, had just moved to our school, I think a year or 2 before. So he talks about how we like to start off every game with a play called Red Rocket Screen, where we throw a screen pass out to James and then he creates. Now, surely everyone in their right mind, since this paper comes out a day or two before the game, is thinking there's no way we're going to actually start the game off with the play he told the paper about. Guess what our first play was?
What
Red
Rocket Screen, tackle for loss, fumble, defensive touchdown. I swear to God, that actually happened because me and my friends, we were talking about that. We were like, well, there's no way that they're still going to do that. We're telling our friend James. And as soon as you saw him come out of the huddle, you knew.
But you would think like I would have been like, yeah, we're gonna do this play, and then set up for that play, and then like as soon as everybody's like, oh my God, they're actually gonna do it,
a rush the other way, a reverse, something.
And then, yeah, exactly, something. Come on.
His reasoning, I believe, later on when they asked him about it, was like, well, we figured they wouldn't like believe us.
God.
But when they see him line up,
dude, he got lit up too. It's like the only I didn't play football in high school, but that's like the one play I can remember was just him getting destroyed, just lit up like a Christmas tree behind the line, and it was so bad. We were so dumb. Our high school, like, that's the difference. Indiana high school football, a bunch of fucking white kids, and you're right. Every play is a rush. You know why? Because none of them can throw the ball.
Exactly.
Same reason they went for 2-point conversions.
Yeah.
Every play. No one could kick.
Yeah. It's like you got to go out there and find somebody. Find a
that's
soccer
why you go
player.
get one of the kids from the soccer team.
My cousin. I didn't even realize this kid was my cousin until like my senior year of high school.
How'd you not realize it?
Because I wasn't close with him.
No.
But like my mom was like, oh yeah, by the way, this kid who's going to be a freshman is your cousin. He ended up being our kicker. He was a soccer player initially, but then he wanted to be Totes McGoat's cool guy, football player, and he became kind of a dick and a douche.
Yeah, because they all figured out they don't have to do a whole lot except kick that fucking ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he doesn't do any hitting drills.
He wouldn't have to do all the running. He didn't have to do all the hitting.
He's
he
fucking
just had to
tiny,
kick the ball and
too.
Be the savior.
Could kick.
Be the fucking savior of the game.
Could kick like a motherfucker, but was tiny. All right, so yeah, Paul Walker goes down. Mox comes in. The scene though where his dad, because his dad's a pussy, we mentioned that, and he gets punked by Paul Walker's dad about starting, and they do the whole
the picnic.
Knock the can off my head.
He hits him in the nose,
but he did it on purpose.
That was
Mox
one of my
knew where he was
scenes
putting
in the whole fucking movie, dude. Like when he throws that thing at the bee or whatever the hell it was and hits it in the fucking nose, and his dad like looks at it and like he's like all cheering, and he realizes he's like, oh fuck. He did that on purpose. I was dying.
Which, you know what, though? You would have thought with his dad, he would have been like, well, at least he's got accuracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is, like, yeah, his dad was, I guess, kind of bitched around when he was a kid by the same coach. Like, John Voight's been there for all these years, and he's always like, he's like the Bobby Knight of high school football.
Well, he's got a statue in the parking
that's right.
lot.
Yeah. And, we also meet, along the lines we had Billy Bob, we had the black running back, we had Paul Walker.
Scott Conn.
We have Scott Conn. What is, Tweeter?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tweeter.
Like.
He was obnoxious.
He was funny, though, man. And like.
It was funny. But there's one of those, there's a tweeter on every team.
I was going to say, I knew.
Everything fucking crazy as fucking hell and gets away with it and never really gets in trouble. And everyone else is how the fuck is this guy still on the team?
Well, nobody on that team.
On every fucking team.
Nobody on that team got in trouble for anything. I mean, at one point, Moxley, after he took over for Paul Walker, and won Dawson.
Moxley?
Yeah.
Moxon?
Moxie.
It's Moxon.
Moxon?
Jonathan Moxon.
I thought.
Call him Mox.
But they call him Mox.
Well, whatever his name is. After he won that game, he went into like a local convenience store and was going to buy a Coke, and the guy behind the counter puts it aside and gives him beer and said it's on the house. So everybody in town was all about giving these football players anything they wanted and didn't
well, it's
care
because
what
every
they did.
generation in that town were part of that program. And for the past 32 years. So, and their status in the town is kind of equal to what their status was when they were playing football for that team. Because Paul Walker's father is like the big shit in town. And then his dad is like the town joke. And like, so it's like it's exactly the same kind of I guess social hierarchy as they had in high school.
You had to
But,
kind of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That they but don't forget about the fact that when he does finally the play he gives, he kind of does the what do they call it, the when he gets the winning play,
Hook
he
and
gives
ladder.
it to the
The hook and ladder.
yeah. So he does that, and they're all, he's kind of like, oh fuck, I just won the game. He wasn't even expecting to be like that guy, and he wins, and he's so fucking like off, like the whole thing just kind of throws him off because he's not used to being the center of attention. Plus, he's shy as shit as it is. So when it does fucking realize like all the shit he gets just for being the big shot quarterback, I think that kind of throws him off too. Because even his fucking girl, 5 minutes after she finds out her boyfriend's got a busted knee and his career's over, she's all over him just because he's the new quarterback.
Okay, hang on. You remind me. I almost forgot. Yeah, you had to kind of feel really bad for Paul Walker's character because it's like he went from being like future Division I, Florida State, one of the biggest high school college football programs in the country, prospect, to immediately like, well, now you're just white trash.
Yeah.
Right.
Your dad ain't got, your family ain't got no money. You were the ticket.
You went from 5-star recruit to high school coach in a matter of one game.
And he gets that practice in this by the end of the movie.
Yeah, he does.
And yeah, so that's when like Moxon's life gets turned upside down. By the way, most tweeter moment of the whole movie is when he's at practice and he looks down in his pants and he goes, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like a real quick shot too. It's like they cut right after that.
But that's the most like tweeter moment. And again, I've known 3 of those guys.
Well, don't forget too that he also stole a police car when the police showed up at one of the parties and
and was driving around naked with
3
freshmen.
other chicks.
Sophomores, Vic. Sophomores.
Oh, were they sophomores?
They were
It's
sophomores.
still illegal.
No, it'd be legal for them if
It'd be
they're
legal.
17.
Yeah, it'd be legal for them.
If they're 17, which probably, could. I didn't turn 18 until like a month before graduation of my senior year.
I didn't turn 18 until after I graduated.
Yeah, but that was back when it was like, 7, 8 AD.
That was a one-room schoolhouse.
Yeah.
But they get carried like as the coach has been, John Voight's been shady as fuck. Like Paul Walker, when they evaluate his knee, they say like he's been in bad shape. He may not ever recover from this because I removed a ton of scar tissue. And John Voight's like, "Oh, never said anything to me about it."
Yeah.
So he's just like
right after he said, "Oh, my knee hurts," and he's like, and fucking Dawson's like, "You bitch!"
And this is
he just told you that shit hurt.
Yeah, and this is the same issue I have in real life with college athletics, and when coaches use up those kids' bodies for their own gain when they're making a lot of money and
Millions.
the kids are making nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's what I said. This has a lot of social commentary.
Well, there's also in terms of commentary, there's also the race thing as well too. I mean, we joked about how they had one black guy on the team and it was a running back. Well, he says later on in the movie that he'll sit there and run down the field, and then once they get within the goal line, they
Give it to a white fullback.
They give it to the white guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Did that happen a lot? And when you played?
No, we were predominantly a black team.
So a winning
Which
team.
was kind of funny because I went to a very affluent high school. It was called Winter Park High School in Orlando, and most of the people, like, it was, I guess it was a pretty even scale as far as black to white mix, but it was like really rich white kids and really poor black kids for the most part.
That's weird.
And all the black kids played sports because that's how we kind of got ahead. And there was like our quarterback my freshman and sophomore year on varsity was this white guy named Russ McBride, and his dad was the principal of the high school. He was the big shit talk of the town. But then when he left, like, our quarterback was this kid named Terrence Foy, who was a dick, but he was a young black kid that was put into the position because he could run with the ball and he was semi okay at throwing it. So yeah, it's
so like RG3.
But when it came down to it,
No, he said semi-okay.
What?
And he said he could run.
That's true.
Yeah. But like when it came down to it, like there were the white kids on the team were like always they were the ones that everyone talked to. Like whenever they did interviews and shit about the game, that's who they went and talked to. They didn't have shit to do with winning the game, but that's who got their picture in the paper. That that's how it always ended up.
To be fair, if it's a black and white paper, you could have been there. Just we just didn't see you. But yeah. It has a lot of social commentary, and then I think also kind of an iconic scene when you say the whole. Because here's the thing: once Paul Walker gets injured, what's her name? His girl, Amy, not Amy Smart. That was Dawson's girl.
That was Dawson's girl.
Allie Larder.
Allie Larder.
Who goes on to be in just a ton of other stuff.
Final Destination. Heroes.
Yep.
She was in one of the Resident Evil movies.
Mm-hmm. And she's in 2 of them, right?
Yeah, I think so.
She was Paul Walker's girlfriend, and like at the beginning when they're at the house party, she wants to like fuck him on the dryer, and she's like, you could tell
like, she's the head cheerleader. She's the head cheerleader going out with the star quarterback,
and she is
with the one dream of following him into glory, hopefully getting pregnant before he goes to college.
Yeah.
That's the plan. That's what they picture it as being.
She is thirsty as fuck.
Yeah.
She is a thought. She is a cum dumpster. A cumster.
A cumster.
A cumster. She's like, oh, I can't wait for Florida State, and he's kind of like, oh, let me see what my options are when I get to Florida. Yeah. And then he blows out his knee, and he's all like, hey, boo, you wanna like wheel me? And she's like, I'm gonna go. I better your best friend's dick.
This is the family thing. I'm just gonna go home.
I gotta go to the party.
Yeah.
But she does the whipped cream bikini, which is what the iconic scene I was talking about when she's trying to seduce Mox.
Yeah.
And he like that's also one of the saddest parts in the movies, because that's when you're like, oh, this dude is gay.
It's like, oh man,
like you hit that. I'm sorry. You tell your friend, man, bro. I did it so you would know. Like, I'm saving you the trouble. She was doing. If it wasn't gonna be me, it'd be the black running back.
Yeah.
I saw him pulling in the driveway as I was leaving.
But yeah, that was
it wasn't gonna be the big boy.
That scene was iconic.
She's just friends with
him. He was just jerking off in the closet.
That scene was iconic, so iconic that they redid it in the movie Not Another Teen Movie, and with Chris Evans playing Dawson's character.
And he's the one in the whipped cream bikini.
Yes.
With the banana.
Hey, Corey, you know what that's called? A parody.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, send it along to your boy at in Living Color.
In Living Color.
But then, so then they have the big hangover game where they're all fucking hungover and they're getting their asses whooped. But then
because they were out at the titty bar the night before.
Yeah.
Which, again, goes along with what we were talking about, how everybody in the town doesn't care what they do and lets them get away with anything because they were in there and they were serving them all night long. As they're sitting there kind of hanging out.
Gods in that community.
Yeah. As they're sitting there, a dancer comes out, and it turns out to be their sex ed teacher from that you were introduced to earlier in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the teacher they all want to fuck.
Yeah, which let me tell you, if I had a sex ed teacher that looked like that, good Lord.
What?
I would have...
If you would have had a sex ed teacher that looked like that, what? Finish that thought.
It would have been really hard to focus on what the subject was. Let's just say
he pulled out of that one well.
Yes. Yeah, so yeah, when she sees them, and then she just goes through a routine and then hangs out with them partying all night, which... Wow. Can you imagine being in their shoes as a high school kid?
No, I never had a teacher that hot.
No, I'm saying if that was the case, if that was...
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it'd be incredible.
Yeah. I got $5. Can I get a private dance?
Oh, wow. This guy hasn't been to it. You could tell back when he went to strip clubs, it was been,
okay.
You could get a movie for a nickel and a popcorn as well.
Okay, when I was there, it was 20, but still, I was being facetious.
I would say that, or you go to some really nasty strip clubs.
I go to some really bad ones.
As Dave Chappelle would say, disgusting. But who could turn down a bargain? But so okay, then they get through that. They play. Let's fast forward. They play in the big game.
Yeah.
John Voight gets called out for being a shitty person and a shitty coach, and none of the team follows him. And he's like kind of, holding on to the glory, and he walks out there. Team doesn't follow him. They all rally behind Paul Walker, who is now Bill Russell, player coach, and leads them to victory using, as Vic said, the old hook and ladder, with Billy Bob getting the winning touchdown right before, 5 years before he ends up shooting himself in the chest.
Well, yeah, that's something else.
Which is, again, another social commentary they make on this, which is CTE, concussions, which, to their credit, long before was ever even a discussion in the NFL or college football.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
But what I was going to say, too, is we had mentioned that the running back had said that, I don't remember his name, he had said that when they get in the goal line, they always give it to somebody else. Well,
but he made sure he got it to him.
He did. While John Voight was still coaching, he changed the play and gave it to him, and he ended up scoring. So, that's...
And then John Voight's just sitting in his office during the second half, and, you do wonder if he's going to put a gun in his mouth.
Yeah.
And they win the big game.
Oh, shit, we completely skipped over the fact that because of that concussion and the kid getting hurt, that he was like, I'm not worth it. It's all my fault. And he ends up giving his pig to Mox's little brother and taking a shotgun out to a field and blows away all of his trophies. And it's like the pressure of the whole thing. He was going to try to kill himself. So they actually went that far with it.
Yeah.
He just kind of glossed over it.
Yeah, and I brought this picture up, so obviously it doesn't do any good for the viewers or for the listeners. But did you see what he looked like before he died?
Billy Bob?
Yeah.
No.
That's him.
Wow, yeah.
He lost a shit ton of weight.
Let me see.
I bet he's got some.
The camera, Corey.
I bet he's got some massive skin flaps, though.
He's dead now.
I'm sure. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure they cut those off.
Maybe, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, but he died
Hey,
of...
Vic.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm Billy Bob.
I like bacon.
You want to fuck me in my truck? I got maple syrup. I'll eat your ass.
Yeah,
Gross.
stop it.
That was me holding the picture up to the Skype camera. Vic is still in Delaware for some reason.
Butter and syrup.
He hasn't come back yet. We're going to start a GoFundMe to bring Vic home for the showdown.
He was, that motherfucker was eating peanut butter waffles and hot shotting syrup at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of those. Those just gross moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see people eating on a movie, and you're just like, ugh.
He was drinking syrup straight out of the bottle.
Yeah, it was. I can hear you getting
Hot
fatter.
shotting syrup.
Yeah.
And so then Mox, you don't really know what happens, right?
Yeah, he ends up going. He
goes
was
to Brown.
Was offered a scholarship to Brown. He ends up getting the scholarship and going there. While Paul Walker stays and coaches the team. John Voight ends up obviously not coaching anymore, but they said that the statue stayed because it was too big for them to take it down. And I don't remember what they said about anybody else. I think everybody else pretty much stayed there.
Oh man, they need to do like the Varsity Blues update where they're all fucking sad townies, like that one dude. By the way, the dude at the party that they hit in the nuts.
Yeah.
I did the math. Okay, so he was class of 80.
Okay.
So he would have been 18 probably in 80.
Okay.
Movie takes place in 99. I think it was in real time.
If that
So
would be
that's
19 more years
37. He's 2 years older than me
hanging
out at a high school party. Like, that guy should have been introducing himself to all those people as a sexual predator.
He should have been Chris Hansen came up in the next scene.
He should have just walked in and like, all right, from Corey's favorite movie.
Yeah. I get older.
They stayed the same.
I'm
age.
still a pedophile. And that's Varsity Blues. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back and give you our thoughts, let you know if it survives. And we have a couple of new exciting trailers that came out to talk about for real this time. So we'll be right back with the Showdown Podcast.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's commercial time with the longest commercial intro I've ever had. I did not realize the intro of that song was that long. All right, Corey.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell people where they can find you.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter and
Do you have CTE like Billy Bob? Of course we're not going to let you go first. Vic, go ahead.
You can find me not handling the ball off to a white guy right before the touchdown at MillerKing51 on social media, and Black and Angry, that's BLAQ and Angry on all gaming platforms.
See, Corey, see how he seamlessly worked in something from the show? That's why he goes first. Corey, go ahead.
Okay.
Right after I get done telling
was
them they can
affirmative
find me at BradScottComedy.com. Funny videos there. Go to @BradScottComedy on Twitter and Instagram, and Comedian Brad Scott on Facebook. All right, Corey.
Okay. You can find...
Well, you can actually find The Showdown at The Showdown Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and The Showdown Podcast on Facebook. Click like somebody should. Also, check out WrestleMania. It is a professional wrestling podcast with Brad Scott and his best friend Brent Terhune. They review and recap the week in pro wrestling and highlight the funny. It's not pro wrestling talk. It's sports entertaining. All right, Corey, go ahead.
All right. You can find me on Letterboxd and Twitter at NKOGonzo. Also, be sure to check out Vic and I's other show, Miller Times Podcast at Miller Times Pod, where we talk about TV for the week and the shows that we're watching. So it's entertaining, so check it out.
All right, let's get back and let's find out if Varsity Blues goes into our Hall of Fame. You're listening to the Showdown Podcast. Welcome back. This is not a song you would think of for a high school football movie, but it's a good song.
I actually forgot about this song.
This is a very peaceful, good, laid-back, mellow song. It's like a good song if you're on like a late drive home somewhere. It's a good song to kind of mellow out as you drive. I use it a lot when I'm on the road, when I'm like late, making those 6-hour drive home in the middle of the night. Okay, so let's move on. I'm really gaying up the football episode. I'm the Michael Sam of the show, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into your guys' decisions. I'll go first because again, this was another one of my picks, and it survives for me. Watching it again, I hadn't seen it in honestly a while, like probably at least 5-6 years. I hadn't watched it all the way through, and it was fun. I still enjoyed it. I still laughed at certain parts, and even though it's cheesy a lot, it's entertaining to me. So I give it a survive. Let's go with Vic.
All right. So, Corey, just so you know, the black guy's name is not the black guy. It's Wendell.
Oh,
just to put that in there, because you said the black guy every time you referenced
Mr.
I'm just saying. But despite that,
well, in my defense, Brad was calling him like Tariq or something too. So
that was the Harold and Kumar episode.
No, you did it in this one too.
No, I said if his name was Tyreek and he was the only Tyreek in town, he would be Black Tyreek. Wendell wouldn't work. Because in a white town, I'm sure there was another Wendell.
Look at it. He's trying to pass off his racism to you.
Yeah,
anyway,
I know.
Watching the movie, I remember hearing everyone reference whenever someone would talk about a football movie. If it was a group of white people, this was the movie that they would reference every single time. And I now understand why. It's the whitest football movie I've ever watched in my life. However, it does hit home a lot as far as, like you said, the social commentary and shit that I even went through myself during high school football. And I actually enjoyed it. I was kind of surprised because I really thought it was just going to be this like really kind of
like a cheesy high school movie.
Snow White, vanilla cheesy high school movie, and it had fucking Dawson in it, and I was like, what the fuck? And actually watched it and enjoyed it, and didn't know that like Paul Walker was in it and fucking Scott Conn, and I like both of those guys too, and I actually really enjoyed it, so I say it survives.
You think it's whiter than Friday Night Lights? I haven't seen that one, but
I haven't either.
I haven't seen that either.
Maybe.
Oh, that's one we haven't seen at all.
Yeah, I've never watched it.
It can't be on this show. Ha ha.
All right, Corey, it's already a Survivor, but is it going to be unanimous?
I only gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't think it was that great, but I'm gonna say yes, it does, because there's nothing that's so bad about it that I'm like that would make me say no, it does not. So there's some parts in there that I didn't like.
There's some cringe parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that all the parts with the black guy in it?
Yeah, that's when Corey was cringing like a motherfucker. Get it off my screen!
God damn it! You gave the black guy the ball. What?
Putting white out on the screen, ruining his TV. Make him clean.
Very funny.
So congratulations, Varsity Blues unanimously goes into the Showdown Hall of Fame. All right. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to let you guys take the lead. I'll still join in. But we promised last episode we were going to talk about the new Star Wars trailer and the new Thor trailer. We did neither. So now Vic and I have both watched both trailers. So Vic, Corey, I'm going to let you guys take the reins and I will just chime in.
Yeah. We'll start with the Star Wars one. All right.
By the way, real quick, how many people in the audience do you think they go, "Oh, Brad's not the lead in this segment"?
Yeah, you think they're fast forwarding?
15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds.
They're just kind of pulling back.
Yeah.
Nah, go ahead. Sorry.
What were your thoughts first, Vic?
All right, so
Okay, well, first of all, let me teach you guys how to run a segment. Which trailer are you talking about? You talking about just
Star
both
Wars.
in general?
No, Star Wars.
Oh,
I
okay.
said Star
Sorry.
Wars.
I didn't hear you say that. Go ahead, Vic. Your thoughts.
all right, so starting out, I've told you this, and I'm going to tell everybody else this. I have a problem with watching first runs of trailers because they're always kind of this weird, like we're going to throw a bunch of shit in there that doesn't really cohesively make a lot of sense and create a bunch of images and give people a chance to kind of guesstimate what this movie is going to be about.
Teaser
By
trailer.
the second one, they kind of put a little bit more of a cohesive spin on the story, so you really kind of get what's going to be going on. But this particular trailer, it just seems like they're leaning a lot more towards just whatever's going on with Luke, because this movie is going to be the Luke predominant movie. They do throw some little hints in there, some throwbacks from the original movie, like the whole thing where he's talking about breathe and do all this stuff is kind of reminiscent of when Obi-Wan was first training Luke how to use the Force to defeat the drone. And he's telling the same thing: breathe, reach out with the Force. Yeah. I get it. You're gonna train fucking Rey, and it's gonna move forward. We already knew this. We could make this guesstimation beforehand. You didn't need to show it to me again. So I just think that it was a little bit too saturated with everything we already know about it without telling us anything about the new story. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Real quick, my thought. Do you think, though, that could be to try to get... Because I didn't know that. So do you think they're trying to just reach out to the casual fan and pull them in and go, hey, remember when this happened in the first Star Wars? Because I didn't know that was going to be...
Yeah.
I think
not to be weird about it, and I understand your point completely, but Star Wars literally in this day and age isn't being produced for necessarily a new audience. It's continuing the legacy of what's already existed. So I think that if you haven't seen Star Wars at this point in some way, shape, or form, and you don't know what the story is about, this is not going to be the way to lead you.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the casual fan. Someone who I am a fan of Star Wars. I like the Star Wars movies. I've seen all of them, but I don't necessarily, like I said, I didn't know that was going to be a main plot point of this. I mean, I knew Rey was going to meet him, but I didn't know he was going to be training her in the same way and all that stuff. So I'm saying, maybe they're trying to draw in the casual fan, people who are aware of Star Wars, but maybe, because, I don't know. Real quick, my thoughts on
the last one?
Yes.
You saw the last one.
I've seen every Star Wars.
You didn't guess. Oh, no, I'm just saying. But when you saw the last one, by the end of it, you didn't guess that she was going to have, she was going to become trained by Luke.
No, I guessed that, but I didn't realize I didn't know the methods. I mean, and honestly, I had kind of forgotten that was going to be the direction. You got to remember, it's been a while since that ending of the last movie.
I may be jaded because I consider myself to be a Star Wars kind of super fan, but I also think that it could have been, I think that the stuff that they put in there, if that's what they were trying to do, then fine. But I just think that it doesn't tell a story, and I think trailers should tell a little bit of a story. And if you're in that way, for the casual fan, they are drawn into that story a little bit more. I may be jaded, so I may not be the best person to ask about this.
Well, let's try somebody who's maybe not as jaded.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
By the way, first time in history we've ever gone to you to be the less jaded on anything.
Yeah, go figure that one. For me, I enjoyed it. I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait. Now, I didn't cream my jeans like Kevin Smith did when he watched it. However, it's definitely got me anxious for it. Just to see it, whether it's another trailer, but I'd rather see the movie. But I knew another trailer is going to come before the movie, so I'm anxious to see that, and hopefully I don't see too much.
When does it come out?
December.
I will be excited if I watch this in November. I am not enough of a Star Wars fan to be excited. I'm more excited for the It movie coming out in September when I saw that trailer a couple of weeks ago than I am now for Star Wars seeing that in this. Like if I see this trailer in November, I will probably be excited because it'll be close.
Yeah.
But as of right now, as a casual fan, it definitely didn't increase my level of excitement but in anything. It didn't affect me.
I feel like there were a lot of Easter eggs in this, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you wanted to bring up the whole thing about the Obi-Wan thing, there's a number of scenes. Like there's a scene in there where you see the back of Leia, and she's obviously in some sort of a war room, and you can see Admiral Akbar kind of off to the side on the other side of the imagery. So you know that they're in space. They're probably on Home One, which is Akbar's ship. So like there's a lot of Easter eggs for people who have the deep knowledge of Star Wars that I caught, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's not going to do anything.
It
for
still
you,
wasn't enough,
Brad.
for you.
It's not going to do anything for you, Brad, as a casual fan to know all that stuff, and all that stuff was there, and I caught all of it, but it really didn't impress me because it's just playing towards me as a big fan to come and then giving you a little bit of a taste to try to draw you in to do it too. So I'm a little off about this particular trailer. I know for a fact the next one is going to be much better. So that's, like I said, that's why I don't really pay a lot of attention to the first run.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's just
then
me.
Speaking of the next trailer, what about the next trailer or did you have any more thoughts, Corey?
No.
So what the next trailer that we watched was Thor Ragnarok.
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 Vic, again, we'll start with you since you're a big Incredible Hulk fan. What were your thoughts on seeing this?
So overall, as a Marvel fan in general, there's a lot of pieces to this that I think are going to play out pretty well in the movie. I just think that there's a lot of this particular trailer puts so many images in there that like every other image was a question mark. So if you don't know everybody that they depicted in there, you're going to be like, who the fuck is that person? Why are they important? Like you know who Loki is. Do you know who the chick is that's in there?
Is it Sif?
No, it's not.
Or
she's
She-Ra.
Lady Death, basically.
What'd you say,
Something
Vic?
like that. She's the queen
Goddess
of
of Lightning? Oh.
No, she's the queen of the underworld. And she's the main protagonist in the movie.
Oh, you're talking about
like,
her.
you
Antagonist.
see Loki, then you see her antagonist. You see Loki, you see her, and then you're like, who the hell is that? And then they show you Thor again. And right at the beginning of it, they show Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, being destroyed by her. And being blown up. You're like, fuck, how the hell did someone, for one, catch that, destroy it? And what the fuck is he going to use now? So like there's all kinds of, it creates a lot of questions that make you want to see the movie. Like, how are they going to proceed with this? Now, of course, the best part for me was the end, because when he walks in there, and one, he's like, his hair's been shown off. So you can tell that they've captured him. He's been captured by somebody, and that they're in a gladiators arena. My problem is too that they're drawing a lot of this Ragnarok story. It seems like they're kind of melding Ragnarok with Planet Hulk. Yeah. Which is the story where Hulk gets jettisoned into space and he basically takes over an entire planet and becomes king. But there's a lot of gladiatorial stuff in there, and that seems like what they're going. And even to the fact that his armor looks exactly the same as in the comic book. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, yeah, I know this guy. That's great.
That was good.
Together.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Like
that was funny.
Okay, so imagine my point here. You watch that and you're like, okay, I get it. I understand. And I want to see more now.
No, I'll be honest with you, Vic. I still didn't understand shit other than, oh, he's gonna fight Hulk.
Yeah.
And they Rocky 3'd me.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah.
Definitely you.
Who do you know who Jeff Goldblum is playing?
No, I have not looked at the character.
Yeah, so-
I mean, I can if I look at it. You tell me who he's supposed to be.
I'm guessing a jaded divorced scientist.
So yeah, your dad makes it
probably-
into the Marvel universe.
I would probably say if
Vic
he
stepped on your
is
joke.
someone, if he's someone in it, he's probably going to be like kind of the Collector character.
Yeah.
The Collector has a brother, a big brother who picks on him all the time, and he likes to capture superheroes and make them fight each other. So I'm thinking maybe it could be the Collector's brother. I don't know.
Yeah, that would.
Since they had the Collector in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
they may draw him in here. So
Well, as far as the Thor movies go, yeah, they were good, but as far as when you put them up against all the other Marvel movies, they were never really high on my list. I just didn't really care too much about them.
Yeah.
But with this one, and especially with the addition of the music that they added too, it's like, okay, this is going to be different. So I'm looking forward to it.
So here's my thing with that. So I don't do this very often, but DC, when they did the was it Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah,
Is that,
Suicide
when
Squad.
they did that with their trailer and synced it with the trailer, like they kind of set the same precedent that Marvel did with the after credit scenes.
Yeah.
And now Marvel is trying to do the same thing, and I don't think they did it as well, in my opinion.
With this one, you don't think they did well?
Yeah, I don't think they did it as well. I think they picked the wrong song. I don't know. I just didn't. It didn't like watching that trailer. Even today, watching that Suicide Squad trailer makes me want to watch that movie again. And I don't even like that movie that much.
I'll tell you
But
what.
like, it gets you pumped, and that didn't work for them and with this one in general.
I tell you what, I watched Suicide Squad again because a buddy of mine hadn't seen it, and so and I got it for Christmas, so we watched it, and it's a lot better the second time, especially when you
I've
watch
watched it twice since I've been in this hotel. It's on like HBO on repeat.
Well, this version
I've watched it twice since.
This version is the extended cut, so there's some stuff that's a bit more fleshed out, and I was like, this makes a little bit more sense in the way it doesn't. There's still issues, but it's better than what I originally saw. But back to the Thor thing. Did you ever watch Doctor Strange? Did you finally watch that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you saw the scene at the end when Thor shows up and talks to Strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
My question is, okay,
where does that play in?
yeah, how is that all playing in? Because obviously, I mean, is he gonna at the beginning of Thor movie, is he gonna come back to his planet after talking to Strange? I'm curious as to how that's going to work out.
It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be in Thor's movie.
I'm not talking about Strange. I'm talking about Thor going from Doctor Strange movie back to his own movie.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily mean that this happened before this movie started.
Okay.
It could be that after this movie is over, Thor is the bridge to bring Strange into the Infinity Wars.
Yeah, but don't they typically do that? Go in order though, like chronologically.
Not exactly. It's because I mean you remember the next actual movie coming out is Guardians.
That's true, but Guardians, none of those characters, we're not going to see them with the rest of these main guys until Infinity War. So they're kind of like that's kind of separate. You can't really consider.
Yeah, but
that.
putting this part of like it's a magic versus mutant type situation. The way that they've been doing it is it's like the mainstream. Not like Guardians and Doctor Strange are kind of like the outside group, and then you have like you have the Avengers, and then the individual ones are kind of lumped together in that one. So I still think that he's not necessarily going to be involved in this particular movie. I think it was just a way to kind of, they needed to do something at the end of it, making it so it's kind of magical type of situation. You would have to use Thor because he's kind of the only other magical being involved right now. So I really don't see where they're going to put him into this, but I think it's going to be an end of the thing, an end of the movie kind of thing where he's drawn in that way. So,
and that's going to be an end of the podcast type of thing.
See what he did, Corey? There,
Yes. Oh yeah. I
This has been the Showdown Podcast. We appreciate you guys listening. Please head on over and rate, review us on whatever platform you're listening on. Please head over to social media and follow us. Links, we'll have our links in the information as well. So thank you guys so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. This is the 3-time award-winning Showdown Podcast for Vic Miller.
Yep.
Corey Miller.
Yep.
I'm Brad Scott. We'll talk to you next time. I don't want your life, buddy.
Football 2 from Mattel Electronics.
I said, who's in there?
Hey, Mattel, I know who's in there. You wish, Franco. Look at Football 2's quarterback. Ever seen a better scrambler? A better passer? That's a Bradshaw in there.
Looks like a Bradshaw getting sacked to me.
And intercepted.
I guess that's why they painted it Mean Joe Green.
Football 2 plays so great you think is in there from Mattel Electronics.